Good day, YouTubers. Today we're going to be looking at 10 ways that you can make your online video content better right now. So this video is made for content creators that are looking to really improve your online content that you're creating through YouTube and any other kind of platform. Today I will be sharing with you 10 different things that I found as a YouTube content creator and as a teacher that help to improve your video content. Number one is to think like a photographer and think in individual images. I try to share this example with my students. When I got married, the wedding videographer at the time set up a camera and just let the camera roll for like 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, we had a really long wedding. I have never gone back and watched that video just because it's so boring to watch, even for myself. And that day was special for me. Now, it's just really boring to just sit there and watch video for like 2 or 3 hours straight with no change in scenery. Now, try to think about this as a perspective of us as people. We're always looking around. When we're at a wedding hall, what do we see? We see things like the chandelier, we see the presider, we see the groom's expression, we see the bride's expression, we see the audience expressions. One thing that's really important as a video content creator is to try to show all the different details. So I want you to try to think in sort of like these different images. If I was to take photographs of a wedding, I'm not just going to stand in one place and take the same picture. I'm going to move around. I'm going to take lots of different images. Now that's what I'm trying to point about with trying to think in shots. Number two is to be like Robert Capa and get close. Being a YouTube creator means that your face is going to be online. Don't be afraid to get close and show close-ups of your face. Most people that are watching YouTube are not going to be watching YouTube from this large 56-inch ultra definition 4K, 5K, 10K TV. No, most people that are going to be watching YouTube are probably going to be watching it from a device like a smartphone or a tablet. So for a large screen TV and watching movies, like for example, Lord of the Rings or something like that, where you have these really beautiful landscapes, that's nice. But see, we're not creating these big, large motion picture movies. And even if you look at these movies, if you closely analyze them, those kind of huge, wide landscapes are very, very few and far between within the actual movies. Most of the content of movies is going to have like close-ups of the actors and actresses' faces. And they're going to be doing, like we talked about in step one, they're going to be showing different close-ups of different like hands and different actions, like pressing buttons. Number three is to keep your cuts under 10 seconds, 5 even better. One of my favorite examples to show students is a video called Kevin by Macklemore. In the first 20 seconds of the video, there's just these really, really short cuts. And we see like in the first 20 seconds, we see like 6 different scenes of Macklemore inside of this building. And it just goes to show you that that fast cutting action just helps to create a more energetic kind of a video. I would say especially within the first 20 seconds of your video that you're uploading to YouTube for content, it needs to be the most interesting because people's attention start to fall off. You never get a second chance to make a good first impression. So you really need to spend a lot of time making that first 20 seconds be interesting. Number 4 is to use a wide-angle lens and use your feet to zoom in to the subject. Now, I've seen this several times. People will use a zoom lens, and with the zoom lens, they'll go from wide to zoom, physically zooming in with the lens to try to get closer. That is the wrong method, because in that kind of a situation, what we're doing is we're using a very photographic method, right? Something that's very specific to a camera. And we're using that technical ability to kind of zoom in, and it's sloppy and it's not natural. A lot of times with video, you want to make people feel like they're being part of that event. If instead I was to gradually walk forward with my feet towards the subject, zooming in that way, we have more of a feeling that we're actually there. It just feels more natural. Number 5 on the list is stabilization. Stabilization is very critical for video. Whether you're using a tripod and that camera is just physically on, it's not moving, stabilization is really, really important. There's other methods. If you have a little bit of money, you can buy a gimbal. They make 2-axis, they make 3-axis, they make 4-axis gimbals that allow you to keep your camera stable as you're moving around, as you're wandering around, trying to capture video as that camera is physically moving about. There's also manual stabilizers that you can purchase. They take a lot more time to get used to, but a good old tripod can work just as well. A lot of cameras these days, you can have the lens stabilization and you can have the stabilization that's built in the body so that you have this dual stabilization, which it doesn't eliminate the need for a stabilizer like a gimbal or another kind of a manual stabilizer, but it does make any kind of movement that you're making with a camera as you're walking around with it be a lot smoother. If you can get your hands on a camera that has the ability to have dual stabilization, for example, the in-body stabilization and the lens stabilization, I highly recommend it. Number 6 is to avoid backlighting. See it lots of times. Backlighting is where your main source of light is behind you. Let's say you've got like a window behind you. So I'm using an LED light, which helps to illuminate the subject, which makes viewing a lot more comfortable than to have backlighting, which you get, backlighting is like a silhouette. It's a no-no. You don't want that. So let's stay away from that. Number 7 is to turn off your auto exposure, your auto white balance, and your autofocus. You don't want to deal with these auto features. Would you believe I've tried to photograph with autofocus before and my face was out of focus for most of the video? If you are using autofocus, make sure that you edit the parts out where the camera's kind of searching for the person's eyes. Auto white balance and auto exposure, they're not so bad, but sometimes you do come across a couple times where it is going to be a little bit bothersome. Number 8 is to focus on interesting content. What is interesting content? Well, that's pretty subjective. It depends on who you are. For me, I'm interested in cameras, I'm interested in photography, I'm interested in vegetarianism, Netflix shows, okay? But not everybody has the same interests. So it's really important for you to find what is interesting to you to talk about. I mean, I guess that sounds redundant, but you see people on YouTube that are talking about things that they don't seem interested in it. Why are you filming it? Why are you uploading it? When you focus on things that interest you, then you're going to get other people interested, and naturally your videos will be popular within your genre. Number 9 is to keep your videos short. Yep, keep those videos short. Now, a lot of times you'll see people on YouTube, I'm guilty of it myself, of making videos really long. The longer the video is, the more chances that you're going to have people tuning out of your video and turning them off or going to watch another video. I know this, and my last video was like 30 minutes. I didn't have the time to edit it. It's a poor excuse, but don't upload long videos for YouTube, okay? We need to spend time in post-production cutting these videos down by 3/4, even a half sometimes of the content that we have created, so that it's a lot more fast-paced, so that people will be more inclined to watch your entire video. And that's what we're looking for, is for people to stay tuned from the beginning to the end. We don't want to lose people in the middle and go somewhere else. We want to keep them. Number 10 is to use a microphone. Now, I'm not talking about using the microphone that is embedded in your camera. Those microphones are terrible. About 8 years ago, I made one of my first videos and I was so proud of it. I was using a really nice camera. I set up studio lights. I went in the studio. I started filming it. I was so excited about it. And I showed my friend, and my friend said, "Lee, your video, the sound is horrible." And I was like, "What do you mean? You didn't use a microphone?" "What do you mean I didn't use a microphone? I use a microphone. My $4,000 camera has a microphone on it." No, you need to use an external microphone." "Why do I need to use an external microphone? My camera is good enough." "No, it's not. Not the microphone. The microphones that are embedded in your camera are not good. You need to use a dedicated external microphone like a shotgun mic, a lav mic, or even a boom mic. One of these external microphones will really help to improve your sound quality. Something like one of these microphones could cost as little as $20 to $100 for a microphone, and it's going to improve the audio quality a lot. Now, we're not going to get into which microphone you should buy today, but using an external microphone is going to increase the professionalism of your video. You could have really beautiful 4K video, but your audio stinks and then your video is terrible. Vice versa, you could use a smartphone, which do quite well at video these days, by the way, but you're using a really nice external microphone, people will kind of disregard the maybe poorer quality or more amateurish video quality as long as your audio is good. So I highly recommend that everyone use an external mic to make your video better now. So if you're not using an external microphone now, I highly encourage that to be on your top priority to buy for your content creation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.